Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Today we continue our series on how to influence men. We've discussed a lot of strategies. We'll look at other techniques that will help you better understand and manage male behavior. These methods, based on psychology and real-life examples, are easy to apply. Ready to go deeper? Let's get started. What makes a woman feminine? Femininity is a state of mind and social activity. Rule #35. How to persuade a man to give you his salary. In your family, everyone has his own pocket, his own expenses and income. You dream that your beloved will give you every penny, but he still hides his income from you, and you only have a rough idea of how much he earns. What should I do? If you and your lover are well-established individuals with a good job, perhaps you do not ask yourself this question. But if you still have no idea about the family budget, your family cannot be called complete. In order to force your beloved to reveal all the hidden items of income and expenses, you can use several effective manipulation techniques. Usually men hide their income in order to make it easier to hide their expenses. After all, if you do not know how much he earns, you will not know how much, and most importantly, on what he spends his savings. Your task is to unwind your man, to make him play openly. You can do this in the following ways. Try to shift your common expenses onto him. Let him pay for groceries, utilities, trips to restaurants, and the cinema. You can explain your insolvency by the fact that, having received your next salary, you decided to look in a fashionable boutique and accidentally spent everything. This can be repeated for months, until your beloved will not offer you more economical spending of your common savings. In this way, you will lead him to the idea that it is time to combine your financial efforts. Another option. You may have an idea to buy a car or a flat. The main thing is that your man should be interested in this purchase. You can look for a new car together, consult about prices and credit options. By doing so, you will ignite in your man the desire to buy this thing as soon as possible. That's when you can take action. Honey, we can only fulfill our dream if we are very frugal and start keeping track of our expenses. You can even try to start a book of the family budget, in which you will keep track of your savings. In such a situation, your lover is unlikely to refuse to share his savings because the purchase of a new car in his interests. And after its purchase, the concept of family budget will become habitual for both of you. How to resist manipulation by men. Rule #36. Develop reflection. Understand yourself, your goals, and the goals of others. Do you feel that you are very easily influenced by members of the stronger sex? Do you feel that you are unable to resist their manipulations? In order to fight back against the manipulator, you must learn to understand yourself and your goals. In order to expose the manipulator, always try to anticipate the further development of events. Think ahead. Try to find out the purpose of the man before he voiced it. Be on the alert and always keep ready to refuse if the proposal of a man you are not interested. If you feel that a man is pulling you into his web like a spider, then you should refuse his offer. Here is an example of a conversation between a manipulative man and a girl who has succumbed to his influence and failed to resist his manipulation. The man starts his conversation as follows. I like you very much, and I would like to talk to you in private. The beginning of the conversation is quite friendly and does not seem to contain any threat. Hearing such a confession, the girl is naturally flattered, embarrassed. She tries to respond with sincerity to sincerity. She agrees to a date. Having secured her consent, the young man doesn't give her a second thought. He immediately offers her two options for a date. A hotel in the countryside or an apartment in a local motel. The girl is confused and does not know which to choose. The man insists on making a quick decision. She decides that it is not worth going out of town and chooses a hotel in the city, which she thinks is more suitable. The man orders a rather expensive room. In the room, he treats his beloved with champagne and delicacies. All this costs him a lot of money. The girl begins to feel uncomfortable. She feels that she owes her companion, She realizes that she will hardly be able to refuse him if he asks her to spend the night with him. She realizes that she would hardly be able to refuse him if he asked her to spend the night with him. In this case, there are skillful actions of a male manipulator and the girl's inability to resist him. What should have been done in this situation? The girl did not even try to figure out the man's purpose, although it was obvious from the very beginning. The man offered her a date not in a restaurant or a park, but in a hotel, from which it could be deduced what he was trying to achieve. In this case, the man skillfully used a manipulative technique. He offered the girl an imaginary alternative. To spend time either in a country hotel or in a city hotel. In fact, the essence of the proposal did not change. In such a situation, the girl herself could have suggested a third option for the development of events. For example, to take a walk in the park or go to her favorite cafe. She did not do this and found herself at the mercy of her companion. But even if she accepted his offer, she should not have felt awkward. She should not have felt obliged to her companion. The girl was embarrassed because the man spent a lot of money. This is another manipulation technique. The man expected that, having made his companion such a gift, having done her a favor in a way, he would be able to ask her for anything. And so it happened. The girl could not refuse when he made her a rather frank proposal. The girl's mistake in this example is very indicative. It can be concluded that in communication with a man, you need to be on the lookout, to be able to calculate his goals in advance and to be able to refuse if his goals do not coincide with your desires. Rule #37. Be extremely attentive. Often men are successful manipulators because of the banal female inattention. Women are not always able to concentrate on the main subject of the conversation. They are very easy to switch to extraneous subjects. Therefore, one more extremely important piece of advice: when communicating with men, be attentive. In a conversation with a man, you should always filter out unnecessary information and leave only the main thing, what the man started the conversation for. How do you learn to concentrate on the main subject of the conversation? First of all, remember the main tricks of the manipulator, with the help of which he can try to divert your attention, distract you, confuse you. For example, in the course of a conversation, a man may suddenly remember about an important meeting for which he is supposedly late or about an urgent call that he needs to make. In this way, he diverts your attention. Your task is to concentrate on his request and try not to be distracted by these tricks. Very often, manipulators, after using this trick, ask you to give a final answer to a question or make a decision immediately. In order not to fall for these tricks, you should once again clarify the essence of your interlocutor's request or proposal. In a conversation with a manipulator, do not be afraid to ask questions, clarify, interrupt. Some people successfully use the method of fast talking in order to confuse a person. This method of manipulation is designed for the person's lack of attention, who may miss important details of the conversation because of the fast pace of the interlocutor's speech. If you encounter such a trick, ask the person to slow down the pace of speech and start again. Or ask a clarifying question at the very beginning. This will immediately throw the manipulator off the rhythm. Another way to shift attention is to move the conversation to another topic. Here are a few examples. Honey, I'm going out with some friends tonight. You know, you look great today. Did you change your hair? Honey, I'm going away on a business trip for a week. Dinner tonight was delicious. I think you put curry in the chicken? In this way, men often divert our attention from the important subject. The essence of manipulation is clear. A woman simply does not have time to think about the information received, and as a rule, answers the last question asked to her, losing sight of what was said at the beginning. To prevent this from happening to you, try to counteract the manipulation at once. Without answering the question, ask a counter question. I didn't hear when you are going out with friends. Please repeat when you are going on a business trip. Rule hash 38. Pretend you don't understand or know anything about the matter. You have been asked to fulfill a small request, and you don't really want to do it, but you also don't want to offend the asker by refusing. In order to competently refuse, you can pretend not to understand the matter. I cannot understand the essence of your request. A colleague asks you to work a shift for him on his day off. You really don't want to lose your day off, but it's awkward to refuse without a good reason. You can answer like this. You know, I switched shifts with Marinka last month, and the accounting department messed something up and calculated the salary less than usual. I tried to find out, but I didn't understand anything in their explanations and decided not to switch shifts with anyone else, or I'll still get less than everyone else. To all his entreaties and suggestions to figure it out yourself, you can just wave away and stand your ground. I haven't figured it out, and I don't want to be a fool again. You can use this tactic in various situations. Failure to understand the interlocutor very often pisses off even an experienced manipulator. He loses his temper and, as a rule, does not achieve the intended goal. The boss calls you and asks you to tell him about the offenses you have observed by the company's employees. You don't want to spoil your relationship with the boss, but you don't want to expose your own either. He is trying to find out the truth from you, using the most sophisticated methods of manipulation. The easiest and surest way to resist is to say that you saw nothing and know nothing. The main thing in this situation is to be persistent in your testimony. Never engage in long explanations and bickering about what you would have said if you had known, because you are a very honest worker and always tell the truth. Answer all questions with one-word answers. I didn't see anything. I don't understand what you're asking. I really don't know what to tell you, etc. The uniformity of your answers will prevent your boss from finding a weakness in your testimony, and he will be forced to believe you. Rule hash 39. Do not make decisions here and now. If you are asked to make a decision immediately, it means only one thing. Your interlocutor is trying to manipulate you. He is trying not to give you time to think, so that you do not change your mind and reject his proposal. Your task is to slow down the hurried interlocutor and take time out to weigh everything up. Imagine this situation. You are walking through a shop and suddenly on one of them you see a huge poster. Only today and only at us discounts on all products 99%. Do you think you will go inside? Sure, it's a very tempting offer. In the shop, the information is even more attractive. On all the goods you see two price tags. One, the old one, with a 5-digit figure, the other with a 3-digit figure. Wow, you think? I'm extremely lucky. Although you are not going to buy anything anytime soon, the unique offer has made you change your mind, and you rush to make as many purchases as possible at such a unique price. When you get home, looking at your new purchases, you discover that the items are not of good quality, some are defective, and you didn't even take the receipt in your haste. A week later, as you walk past the shop, you come across the same unique sale sign and see people walking out of the shop with happy faces, thinking how fabulously lucky they are. This example once again proves the truth. Measure 7 times and cut once. You should always think, even when you are offered an unrealistically favorable deal, a unique purchase with a huge discount or something else. In any case, remember that if you are asked to make a decision now, you should be wary. After listening to your interlocutor, you should answer the questions. Do I need it right now? For this kind of money? Will I need it? If the answers are positive, and then you should not lose your head and agree to the purchase or deal. You should get appropriate guarantees that if the deal goes bad, you will be able to get your money back. If your interlocutor does not give such a guarantee, it means that you are facing a manipulator who wants to deceive you. Thank you, friends, for being with us to learn more helpful strategies on this topic. Subscribe, like, comment, click the bell, and watch our next video.